Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Season 2 of OCL Week 2. My name is Dicehart, and I'm joined today on the cast by our boys on the desk, Lilith and Distinct Taste,
Hello.
What up?
and our casters for tonight, Nan and Lath,
Hello, and I think Lath is peeing.
as always. Tonight we're bringing you a few big sets. Let's take a quick look at the schedule for tonight. First up at 6:30 we have Wyverns versus Detox. After that at about 8 o'clock we'll have Desto's 10-minute microwave miracles versus Five Guys 3 lanes. And finally for the night at 9:30 we'll have Chickens versus Puri. So it should be a couple of good sets, probably a bit of a long night, but it should be a lot of fun. To begin with, I'm going to throw it straight over to our analysts, Distinct and Goliath, to run you through these teams and hopefully get straight into picks and bans after that.
Sweet, thank you, Samuel. Or Dysart, I should say. The Wyverns versus Detox at 6:30. New team coming out, Detox. We have not seen them, but let's see who's on that team, because we have no idea. Jeez, I can't even see it.
That's a bit small for us. So it seems like Jezza solo, La House jungle, Celestial chosen mid, Ozcam Smith support, and Wally 97 ADC.
Okay, interesting. Well, I only know two people on this team, and that is Jezza and Ozchem Smith. So interesting to see.
I am assuming La House is it House? Is it the House 69 from a little while ago? I've seen Celestial chosen in the old OCE casuals recently, and he has been putting on a show. Ozcam Smith, obviously, seasoned veteran. In the support role.
Out the service so much with OCL.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yep. Wally 97. I feel like I've seen that name before. I haven't seen him recently, but I'm sure this team will show us what they're made of tonight.
Yeah, Celestial Chosen. I have not seen him before, and I'm kind of curious on how he's going to play and how. Yeah, it's just very interesting. I have not seen many of these people. Jezza, I have seen though. He used to be in the scene back a while ago, and I think he wasn't playing solo, so I think he's on a new role. But very, very interesting team we have here, and it'll be very, very exciting to see how they play.
And they're up against a pretty strong bunch tonight as well.
Yeah, top 4 team, I'm guessing, or top 3 team they're versing. So, going to be showing what they can do and see if they can be one of the top dogs.
Absolutely. And the only other changes would be Five Guys 3 lanes, I believe.
Yeah, but let's check out the Wyverns, seeing who they're up against. So we've got, okay, what the fuck is that? What is Jay Beto's picture? Is that actually him? That is so cringe. I'm sorry.
Start.
Why can't we see his face?
So they have Jay Bano and Solo.
Run them through the fills. There are fills.
Oh, they're fills?
There are fills.
Oh, there's 2 fills. Yes, I think so. So we have, I think it's Gaiden, and we have Envy. So Envy is going to be the jungle, swapping for Half Guy because Half Guy's away. And Jay Beto, who is Jay Bano, who got banned, is going to be swapped with Gaiden. Rana Barana is going to stay mid, Diceheart's going to stay, and Regan's going to stay. So 2 changes. I think they're the official subs, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, there's going to be 2 changes. Yeah, Jay Beto's banned for 2 weeks, and Half Guy is away, so I don't know when he'll be back. Probably in another 2 weeks. So yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think they've been scrimming with their subs, and I think it's gone pretty well. What do you think about the 2 subs they have in this game?
I believe that it'll be okay because the core is so strong with Diceheart, Regan, and Rana Barana in those 3 roles that even this week, as they are up against a newish team, it shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. Honestly, I believe in them.
Yeah.
Because as you said, they are a top 4 team, and they'll be this new team will kind of be up against the ropes, I'd imagine, coming into it. But I believe they'll put up a bit of a fight.
Yeah, be very, very interesting to see. I'm actually looking forward to this game.
Absolutely.
Seeing Detox and the Wyverns play it out. But game 2, who do we have next? Let's see. So we got Microwave, which is Desto's Microwave, 10 minutes. It's such a long name. I can't be bothered saying it all. But yeah, 5 guys, 3 lanes on the other team. This is a very, very even matchup. Let's take a look at 5 guys, 3 lanes. If we can. So we got the Dunk Me in solo, Fear in jungle, Gorilla mid, Derv support, and Flix ADC. I don't know if the last time they played, if they were in the same roles, but I think they switched around. I'm not really sure. So it used to be Derv in the mid, Gorilla as the support, and Furin was ADC, Flix was jungle. But it's now swapped around. What do you think about this change?
I personally like this one myself. I think that Derv speaks a lot, and it will be great for shot calling. Furin jungle, we've all seen it. We've all been a part of it. We've all been hit by the set. We know how it is. So that's no issues there. And Flix ADC, I mean, he's an Ula main, so just chuck him on that, and you're right.
Very, very good.
As long as it's the same pieces, though, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Like, these guys have scrimmed together with this team. It might not be in this formation, but they have put in some time. So it shouldn't be exactly brand new to them.
Alright, I've just got word that we're going into picks and bans right now for game 1. We'll talk about 5 guys, 3 lanes and Microwave team later on after the set. So we'll get into the picks and bans right now. So, Cleo, first band. Interesting to see this band. We don't see it often, to be honest. It used to be very heavily banned back in the first season and in the previous, what's it called? I'm losing my thought. Just previous patches, it used to be really, really highly banned, but now we just see it go through, but currently being banned. And we got the Freya ban from Detox.
Which is, always a good ban. Freya's kind of just a ticking time bomb late game if you let it get there.
Yeah, but OC loves to ban it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pressure that Cleo gives is still pretty insane in solo. You can still just ult the wave and then walk away. Like, that tech is still there.
Yeah. We're just waiting on the next few bans. Kepri.
Thinking about it.
Kepri. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Just a good solid ban.
Yeah.
Just one of the supports you just don't want to deal with. Honestly, it's got everything.
Kepri is very annoying with the ultimate and being able to save his team, and yeah, it's just a very, very safe and good ban.
The emoji coming out from Detox next, obviously trying to ban out Dice. Put him a little bit behind, and then they answer with a Mercury, which is very interesting because it seems like they've banned 2 assassins here. Which
I was gonna say the Merc is probably just a comfort ban. They probably just have been played against it and just done the Merc's just done well against them. So, but we have seen Merc being banned a few times throughout this season, so it's not really that surprising. But Chernobog also banned from Detox. That is not surprising. Chernobog has been a menace in the scene. So
absolutely. And it looks like an Erlang Shang is being hovered here by Thunderclap Death Wyverns.
Erlang is very, very strong in this meta with the Executioner change and just how he's played. It's just still very strong. Nothing has really changed on him except for this what's it called? The bonus patch has kind of made him a bit weaker, but he's still very strong with his ult and just running it down.
Yeah, absolutely, and giving it to because obviously Envisionize is filling this week for Half Guy, giving a Phil a rundown god is always a great way to do it. Make him feel good in the early, and that usually translates to late.
Yes, definitely. Ganesh being hovered by Detox. Ganesh is a very, very safe and very, very high damage god. I really like the Ganesh into gods who use the abilities, but they get locked in, and the Rama being looked at as well. Rama also very safe.
That's just a good lane. They're going to have a fair amount of wave pressure, obviously, depending on Thunderclap Death Wyverns choose.
Yep.
But they can Rama Ganesha, very good together.
Yeah, very, very good. I like that dual lane. Waiting for Death Wyverns, seeing what their picks are. Bologna being hovered. Bologna, we haven't seen too much, to be honest, in the solo lane. I'm guessing it's going to be. Bologna was really, really good with the spiked no, what was it? Berserker Shield, that's it. But Berserker Shield got kind of nerfed into the ground, and Bologna still seems to be picked up. So, and Jingwei is being hovered. What do you think about this Jingwei? Do you think Jingwei is still good, or is it kind of mad now with the changes to crit?
Well, I would say Jingwei's still good. It's still like you're still not losing farm, and it's still an ultra safe hunter. And it seems like with the Bologna and Erlong pick, they want to be running down pressure in solo lane.
Yeah.
So just being Jingwei and being able to, if you get pressured out, being able to get back and get that farm that you miss potentially while your team is running it down less up the other side, solo side, can be huge. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll be surprised if they grab the FAF or the FAF would be huge on Death Wyverns, but Cthulhu being looked at by Detox. Cthulhu here, I think it's not too bad. Cthulhu it's just very, very annoying, and in the team fights it's just going to do amazing work, but also with the Ganesh ult, it's just going to do a lot in the team fights.
Absolutely. Being the Bologna or Erlang, trying to get to it, ulting Cthulhu through a Ganesha is just going to be an absolute nightmare. Between the silence and the highest damaging ability in the game and Dharmic Pillars, it's going to be an issue. It is going to be an issue.
Big issue. Then we got the second phase of bans. I think it's Detox going to be banning first. I'm pretty sure. And they banned the Mori. Good ban by them. I don't want a double Cthulhu.
Absolutely.
And Mori is just a safe ban in my opinion. It's just always good to ban it.
Yeah, I'd be looking to ban out junglers here as well if I was a Thunderclap Death Wyverns, because they want to make sure that they win the 2v2 against the Cthulhu and whatever. So the Nem ban here is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, Nemesis through till what's this? No, fourth pick? No.
Yeah.
I don't know what pick this is. It is like 7th or 6th pick. But yeah, the Nemesis is not being picked up and it gets banned in second phase. That's insane. But then we have the Dodgy ban coming out, good Assassin ban. It kind of fucks over the Erlang Shen and the Bologna a little bit. But also Detox banning the Gab. Gab is a kind of a weird ban. I don't know why they would ban Gab. Maybe Samuel or Diceheart, sorry, has been playing it a little bit and looking good. So it's kind of a weird ban. What do you think?
I think the Geb can actually give the cleanse that onto Erlang or Bologna that will make it pretty effective against the Ganesha.
Yes.
So I believe that's why they've done that. So when Ganesha dashes somebody, they can just cleanse that person and they're gone.
Yeah.
That will be my guess. But the Barber he picked up here, I'm not sure. The Barber is going to get ran at. Like, that's just a fact of life here.
Yeah,
so...
but Baba Yaga is very, very hard to dive, I feel like. She has a 3 that can easily get out, has a silence on her abilities, and has the ult, which can knock people back and gives her a shield. So it's kind of like an anti-dive god. So it'll be hard to kill her, but hopefully Death Wyverns can figure it out, or just look for another lane, I guess, like the Rama and Ganesh. So, but Terra being hovered.
Well, obviously walls against Cthulhu are like always valuable because you can't. When you're that big, it's very annoying, especially with Terra's little small ones. You're like, what am I stuck on? This is ridiculous.
But I have heard that Diceheart's Terra is pretty potent. He used to love playing it, love to be a little bit troll with the walls and body block people. But Hugh Wang being looked at as the mid laner, a very, very strong pick and very, very safe with the 3.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, it's absolutely a frontline run it down, backline. You're kind of on your own here from the Thunderclap Death Wyverns, and they've picked accordingly with the Hugh Wang. Just being able to fly in the air. And surprisingly, his ult is also like not bad for when you get going on.
Yeah, the knockback, and then it's just very, very safe, and the 3 as well is lets him be out of danger for a little while, so kind of helps out. And the terror of like being with him as well, it's going to be a lot of appeal. And Humbat's being picked for Detox. The Humbat's kind of interesting here. I guess they just want a bit more CC on the team, and Humbat's with the ult can do that.
I don't mind the Hornbats. It's obviously a great team fighting god, and that's what they seem to have drafted around here. Detox is pretty good team fighting ults and damage, but I wouldn't have minded a little bit more pressure to deal with the Erlang Shang. But we'll see how that goes. And we'll throw it over to our casters here, Naren and Lath. Yeah, Lath. Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Welcome into week 2, I do believe, of the Smite OCL. My name is indeed Lath. I'm joined here on the cast by my good friend Nan.
Hello, hello. I'm on the other side. I'm free.
Finally, not having to work the camera, gets to just sit back and enjoy the game, and an interesting game to say the least, in my opinion. New team. If people aren't aware, Detox added to the league at the start of this week, which was good. It kind of mellowed out the league, removed that bye week, and good to see Ozcam kind of on a team here. He wanted to play. It gets to get off the statistics and enjoy running it down a little bit.
Yeah, a few familiar faces I'm seeing on Detox. La House, aka The House. I haven't seen him in the jungle before. I've seen him in mid and solo. Huge fan of the mages, but I have not seen him on the assassin, so this will be interesting. Celestial Chosen, another familiar name. G Zaz on the Cthulhu. We know Ozcam, hoping to see him put on a good performance. He's put in so much work behind the scenes. And I don't recognize this Brahma Wally. Do you, Lath? Do you know who this person is?
I do not believe I know who this person is.
It's a bit of a mystery going into this game.
Yeah, but we all like a mystery person, don't we?
For sure.
Pretty.
Yeah, Hog. Is Hog meta for support now, or how do you see it?
Look, I wouldn't believe so. That initial buff spawn is so weak right now. I just don't think you need to use Hog. It's a kind of just a waste of 100 gold, in my opinion. Maybe if you think that you're going to lose pressure, you could grab a Hog and hog your own buff on the first respawn. But the initial spawn, I just do not think you need it, as the duo lane does hit level 2 for the Wyverns, and well, you're getting sent back a little bit.
Yeah, good stroke. Pressure already coming out, but it's not really surprising. I think Jingwei and Terra just have so much more pressure than Ganesh Rama. I mean, Rama's got nice clear, but I think the lane pressure from Terra with just the CC, and Jing's got those AoE orders in a 2, it's just really going to bring it in the early game.
Yeah, ever since they changed Terra to have that slow effect, as long as she's got one of her stones up, she's got a lot more early pressure, in my opinion.
For sure, and we're seeing different starts from the junglers. So House came a bit earlier, and I think Envy secured that totem, did he? Or is that not up yet?
Nah, totem spawns at 1 minute, so totem has been taken. I wasn't paying attention. I would assume, considering how late Envy was, that he probably did hang around to secure that totem. A lot of junglers electing to do that.
And as a result, Gaden's got some pressure in solo now. As left's going the way of Wyverns, and hopefully Detox will be able to split. But they don't make it, and House is already so poked. He doesn't have his jump, it looks like, unless he used it, and he just dies. I'm curious if he had his jump and maybe he'd used it, or if he went for his 2 and 3.
Yeah, I would assume maybe the 2 and 3, but that is First Blood, the way of Envy, the sub for Wyverns, as we do see House.
He doesn't have it. Yeah, I don't think that's a play on Hunbats. I think that's a bit greedy, especially when you don't even have beads, you're starting Blink, which is probably the right thing to do on Hunbats, but just not respecting Erlang, I guess, or thinking he would get gone on. He got so poked.
Yeah, not too sure exactly what happened there with that poke damage, but Blue Invade comes out and is successful. But Envy backstopped. Kind of a questionable play from Jesus.
Yeah, just dashed through 2 very healthy members of Wyverns who just stole his blue, so I'm not sure if maybe that was a play out of spite, but definitely finding his own death there.
Well, Invade's coming out everywhere from the looks of it.
Ran off the solo invade onto red. That's gonna do some decent damage to him.
Celestial's in the area with House as well, but they're not electing. They've reset the red buff, and Rana's in a bit of trouble here. I'm not too sure if they're going to chase, and doesn't look like. It looks like just securing the red buff is the call. The buff Invade did come out too.
Unfortunate sequence of abilities from the Humbats. Doesn't quite get the TP onto Rana, as the Humbat's TP goes back to the red buff and then misses the jump to slow, and Rana's quite safely out of there. Who ended up getting the red there? They secured the red, didn't they, Detox?
Yeah, they secured the red. Rana elected just to fall back to lane and go for his own red buff. Maybe he wasn't feeling like taking the 2v1.
Yeah. There's Envy's coming mid now, and they're just going to be splitting this mid wave. Humbat's not really a lot to do, just waiting for his backs to come up. I'm sure Detox will be wanting to be on either this purple or blue spawn. I mean, Wyverns have pressure to get them both again, so we'll see what they elect to go for.
Yeah, a lot of ultimate abilities ready for the Wyverns as Wally caught out a little bit, does have that Rama roll to get on out of there.
It's already 2k lead, that is huge.
Yeah, that is wild actually, I'm not too sure. Surely a couple of buffs, you don't get a lot of gold or XP for invading right now, it's more just stripping that farm from the enemy teams. I'm not too sure how they've managed this.
Yeah, well, Detox aren't really splitting the map anywhere, they're simply just losing their own buffs, and then Wyverns are getting their own as well. And Kazoo, another aggressive dash, holding his ult, so very late, does live.
Yeah, Gaiden kind of sent that ultimate in the wrong direction, does allow Jesus to live, but still a lot of pressure in this duo lane right now is probably to be expected here.
So the Humbats is 5 now, so I think there's a good opportunity for him to look for a pick on someone. I mean, Envisionize doesn't have beads, and I think he doesn't really need beads. He's already very far ahead, but that's still something to be exploited if you can find him in a spot where you can pick him and invest enough into him to kill him.
Yeah, I would have to assume that the best target here is probably that Erlang Shen, lack of beads. If he works well with his mid laner, it should be a free kill if the Humbat's ult is dropped on him. As I've noticed something very interesting is we already have a ward chalice coming out from Ozcam on the Ganesh. A bit early, in my opinion, but I mean, as long as he's getting a fair bit of warding out, you know, pretty worth. Just means that there's a lack of consumables that can be picked up, whether it's no health pots, which I guess you don't really need at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he still has the vision shard, so that he's got 2 chalices now, essentially, for quite a while, so hopefully we'll see some positive effects of that. I was just having a think about sort of what kind of initiation Detox can pull out, and I don't really like the Bubba a huge amount with the Humbats. I think with Humbats you definitely want someone who can do a lot of burst very quickly, and Bubba has some nice bursts, but it's still a few abilities that needs to be thrown out collectively to really get that damage off in a quick amount of time. She has 2 2s to throw, a 1 to throw, but apart from that, I mean, her ult's very slow burn. I'm not a huge fan. I think they're going to struggle to get big picks off this Humbat's ult. Rama dies. Was that a tick?
Yeah, that was a tick of the ultimate. It looks like it came from the updraft from Brucey U. As Dice griefs his ADC by stealing the kill. Obviously not intentional, that Terra ult kind of just good for getting a last tick. But...
So I'm still trying to work out what procs that Terra ult though. I don't think it was was it the Terra 3? I didn't quite see.
I think it was the updraft. I think Wally's... he didn't beads there, interesting. Oh yeah, I'm not too sure. Either way, Dysart does yank that kill for himself.
That's the Terra damage.
Yeah, look, that Terra ultimate kinda good. Kinda does a lot of damage, and
especially if you build some more power on it, which we're seeing a lot of supports do.
Yeah, I don't think they have a fantastic team of just instantly cracking. There's not a lot of tick damage, so I don't see them cracking the Terra ult very quickly. And then even Detox don't have a lot of tick damage on their side either.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about good mage ult, as we see Ganesh ult here, nothing really comes off it.
I think maybe a lack of patience there from Ozcam. You should be well aware that Rana still has that 3-up, the self-banish, and he's just going to float straight over the top of the pillars. Maybe a little bit of a wasted ult. Ganesh ult doesn't take a great deal of time to come back.
I respect those opportunistic plays though, just making things happen. I think Ganesh ult is one of those ones that can make something happen when you don't think anything can be sort of done. You know, he'll place it and you might think you're safe, and then all of a sudden you're in trouble. You know, the slow and the ticks really add up. But he's poked down now, so he's gonna have to take a trip to base. Purple is stolen away again. I don't know if that's for the 3rd consecutive time. But now they're grouping hard on House.
And he just trying to be best. Oh, it's a good. What is Hayden doing here?
Comes over from solo. Did he TP? No, he's just walked over Miles. I guess he's proxied in solo. I wasn't watching. Does mean Jesus might get a breath of fresh air to get this blue buff.
Yeah.
I don't know if he even has his own time run it though.
Gaiden just getting the freaking flyer Miles up there, walks on over, says thank you, hit him with the one tick of the Scourge.
Yeah, he's trying to pad the distance traveled stat.
Yeah, getting the Apple Watch a couple more ticks in it, eh? But
yeah.
Unfortunately, House does go down. A bit of an odd engagement. He did well to leap over the top of the Erlang ult, but
who got that blue
no.
buff?
I mean,
Don't tell me Gaiden got that.
It was definitely not the Cthulhu, as he does not have the blue buff on him.
That hurts. And no one's in mid right now.
Yeah, Bubba just traveling a bit. Oh, that's just unfortunate. Yeah, unfortunate from Ozcam.
And they're getting a lot of nice free poke here.
I...
That's kind of eliminated. I think Wyverns were looking for a play with this Trev, and they've just trolled and poked themselves out now. They have the Terra sustain, but that tower's not going to be going down when I think they're in a good spot to kill that Ganesh and get the tower. So, yeah, I like that Ganesh ult. That was good.
Yeah, it ended up actually being, to be honest, I kind of wish that we saw a little bit more aggression out of Celestial here. He has the beads up, he has the ultimate up, and he kind of just sat back and let that. If he's just goes into that Ganesh ult and ults in the middle of them, which is only just ulting now to the Terra, who is knock-up immune, then I think that we see MV fall there and maybe an extra kill, but
yeah,
instead
that all came out way too late.
Yeah, instead Ozcam's the one who falls and Pyro's the call from the Wyverns. This is free too, no contest on this. Rebuff being secured by Detox and Wally just trying to AFK a little bit in lane, get to that late game Rama stage, stack up that Devo's Gauntlet.
Yeah, I think Celestial played a bit too hesitant there. Didn't really use the abilities, the Bubba abilities, in the timing, which he probably should have with the Ganesh ult, and then Bologna came in from behind, did he? Like ulted into tower?
Yeah, he walked through the speed buff, I guess just checking to see if speed was up and...
I think the best thing about Bubba ult is the knock up that it has, you know, when you're close to her, and I think he could have used that on Bologna. Maybe to save his teammate.
Yeah, if he just knocks up Envy as well as
that
second earlier, there's a kill there.
Ability. I know for a fact that ability is so good at peeling.
House elects not even to throw the monkey in to try and save that blue buff, which I don't think Jeez has had a single blue buff outside of the initial one.
So much damage, and he is being zoned from his own speed, and this difference in damaging ability between a fed Bologna and a very behind Humbats is quite hard to watch. He still tries to trade with her for a bit, not successful. This Bologna is not dying. I think they need to leave. They need to go somewhere else.
Frenzy.
Ignore this Bologna.
Yeah, this is just rough. I think this is kind of poor from both teams.
Yeah, there is a Gold Fury that's been up for quite some time, which I think could have been killed quite some time ago.
Yeah, I don't really know why DICE has rotated to that. Gaiden was in no way in any threat of dying. There was a frenzy pop and a bunch of ults used, and nothing really affected him.
Yeah, I mean, an unkillable Bologna on the enemy speed is like the perfect opportunity to do a free Gold Fury and left for the Wyverns, and they decided to go over and join the party.
Because Detox have sent 4 people to try and defend that speed buff against a single Bologna, you're right, that is absolutely free gold territory, and instead they decided to take a little bit of a clown fiesta at the speed as Wally poked real low.
And he's still hiding under tower. I'm not sure what the plan was there. That was just poor ADC play. Speed's too late, did an ult, hit behind his tower when, Regan had a wave in there. Brucey, sorry. Gold Fury being DPS down, and I don't know if Detox know this is happening or if they've given up on defending it. House is so far behind he can't even secure any of his own buffs. He really needs to be like really slippery this game, even invading some buffs. Like look at the buffs on the right side for Wyverns, all still up. He needs to be just on the other side of the map, invisible, farming up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's the entire back camps for the Wyverns are up, the blue buff's up, and we know that they're just going to be at his own buff, so just kind of give those up and look for the invades instead. 'Cause I mean, look at this. Envy is still just looking for invades, even though his farm has been up for a long time now.
Yeah,
House just needs to get out of here.
This part of the map is now the Wyverns jungle, and all the farm on Wyvern's side of the map is just neutral farm.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been up for a long time too. Yeah, I reckon we could have done back camps 2 to 3 times at this point.
I don't really understand what is happening here. Can we see some objectives being done, please, Wyvern?
Yeah, Detox don't really seem like they know what they want the plan to be.
This doesn't look like objective doing to me. I mean, they are between towers, having a staring contest. Professional Bologna rolled. Ooh, big engage for Detox. Possibly finding something good damage coming out. Bubba Flames hitting multiple people, but they're so far behind. A lot more damage should really be done.
Oh wow, that first snipe was well off the mark. Second one hits, third one does not find the target. That was
very commendable from Detox, but just maybe if they weren't so far behind and a little bit better execution, that would have been a sick fight for them. It just doesn't matter. I think Wyverns wanted a fight there, and they got one.
I'm not too sure what the Elephant was doing all the way up there on Envy by himself. Maybe trying to set up for the Ram snipes, but I think Ram should have just been pushing his lane here.
You really wish this house was a player right now. This, sorry, Bubba house, not the house next to the house. He is a player, no BM.
House should have just taken the Bubba himself. You know, really lived up to his name.
2 houses standing there trying to defend, but neither of them hitting anyone.
Interesting enough though, this Bubba is only 1 level down compared to the fact that the rest of his team is 4 levels down in each role, so Celestial doing relatively well just to stay in this game, but
yeah,
17k XP, 12k gold at 15 minutes.
That is a bit rough. He's done well to make sure he catches all his waves. I don't think he's been getting any of his farm, apart from maybe a few green buffs, but maybe Ozcam's been splitting a bit left. There is 4 levels behind Dice, so that could have something to do with it.
Finally, we see these back camps go down on the Wyvern side of the jungle. It's only been 5.5 minutes since they were taken.
Yeah, and there's no reason, like, for Wyverns to just not hit Fire Giant right now. Let Detox come in, win a super easy fight, or get fire. Like, if they wanted to end in the next 5 minutes, they easily could, but let's just see if they choose to or not. Looks like they are starting to ward around it. Brissy still wants to farm up for a bit longer as Pyro is hit, and hopefully this Jingwei decides to come over shortly.
Oh, dash in aggressively from Envy, ultimate use from Ozcam, pretty decent, good dash to get away from Envy, and Envy was just body blocked on the pillars there, big heal though, and Envy will fall to Celestial. Dice looking like he could be in trouble here, does have that double dash. Well, he's made this rotation. Pyro call for Detox?
That was pretty cracked. That Ganesh ult, I think dealt like nearly 1,000 damage there. It just didn't look like it because Wyverns are quite tanky and far ahead. But that was pretty well played. Good hum battle.
Yeah, and just trapped Envy right in the middle of that pillar wall, and then I think they body blocked him as well, so he couldn't get out. Jesus does have the dash. Gaiden, no ultimate. But oh no, this is unfortunate.
Okay, Cthulhu looks like opted not to press 4, and
I suppose if you're gonna die, there's no real point. As we see a Dueling Dragons be absolutely nowhere near hitting anything.
I mean, this is fine for Detox. They're trying what they can, right? This fight isn't a stomp right now, and both teams are getting low. It's literally just the deficit that Wyverns have built up that's won them this fight. Because honestly, Detox have not played some of these fights horribly. They're just already so far behind.
In my opinion, I think if Detox are even there, they win that fight.
For sure, and we've seen that with quite a few teams, that their ability to fight well together is not the big difference between a lot of these teams. It's these little plays like buff invades, buff security, all these things that add up, you know, that really start the snowball effect. If teams learn how to limit these late game team fights, the only variable there is execution. If both teams can execute fights well, it's anyone's game.
Well, Fire Giant does fall in the way of the Wyverns 18 minutes in. So I'm assuming we're probably going to see a bit of a grouping here. Maybe look for that left tower, left Phoenix.
Yep, Treb's been sent in right, so that's pretty perfect for Wyverns. I mean, Treb is quite a slow beast, so
Yeah,
watch-
the MVP, Gargantuan Gus himself.
you're gonna have to explain that reference.
Uh,
Or just stop calling it that.
Claff called it Gus one day, and we now call it Gargantuan Gus. There you go.
You
Welcome
call
to
it
the end
Gargantuan
round.
Gus. You and Claff. I'm
Yeah.
not joining in on that. It's finally made its way to the tier 1 and right. So maybe another hour or two and it'll finally get to the tower, the tier 2 in Detox's tier 2. A full reset for Detox. I guess just spending what little coin they have right now. And kind of an awkward grouping. You expect everyone to go left here for Wyverns. Again, I think House should be taking this opportunity to do whatever farm he can. They have time here, clearly. Look how long Wyverns are taking. Detox have time to farm and do things, to kill that Trebin right, to do something, to stop the bleeding. Because we know they have an ability to fight well here. It's just the level and gold difference is quite gargantuan, to use your terminology.
Yeah, the level in XP lead is kind of like Gus. It is quite gargantuan right now. As we do see House following what you say. He's heading over to take out that trebuchet, and Blinken from Dice Ultimate also used from Ganesh, Dark Pillars.
Yeah, not the best value of Ganesh ult there. I think what we're seeing right now is kind of what we expected. Detox probably wanted to go for a fake engage there to not die and waste some of Wyvern's ults, but they all just died. And well, they still have a Hunbat's ult. But
yeah, being this far
Wyverns
down and trying to take a fight 4v5 even under the Phoenix, probably just never really going to go well for you. As Wyverns walk into the Titan. To be fair, good double taunt there from Envy. House does go down, no ultimate used at all from the Wombats, and I'm sure this is going to be game one. I don't see Celestial saving this as...
Slowly being whittled down. Wyvern
it
didn't do a terrible job at actually focusing Titan there, so...
Yeah, I was expecting to see a bit of fountain farming with their positioning, but that is game one the way of Wyverns.
So nearly a 21-minute game, but I would call that, I think that would qualify for a 17, 18-minute game if if Wyverns had somewhere to be, which clearly they didn't. So that's still quite a short game. Impressive performance coming out from this slightly altered Wyverns roster. Should we throw it back to the analysts now, see what they have to say, check out some of these stats?
Yeah, we'll hand it back over to Gal and Distinct now to break down game one.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, interesting game one. Wyverns putting on a show, just full on decimating Detox, but Detox not looking too bad. Just a few little errors, I feel like. Just a bit of a snowball as well. I think the team comp just didn't really work out for them. What do you think, Oscar? Or sorry, Distinct Taste.
I believe that they just got ran out and they couldn't do anything about it. We saw the Bologna at the yellow buff zoning at about 7 minutes into the game from 4 people. But however, Detox did have a few rays of light, as you mentioned, most importantly, or most noticeably at the Pyromancer fight, where they did drop 3 ults for 1 kill. However, that was the 1 kill they got the whole game, so you got to be happy about it.
Yeah, and it's a new team to the league. They've still got a few things to work on, it seems like. But I'm hoping in this next game they just figure out their draft, because their draft was, I feel like it was just all about their late game. They didn't really have anyone to really like any early pressure, and if you look at the side of Wyverns, like all their goals are pretty much just early pressure, which is really, really good. But yeah, there's just not really much you can do when you have that big of a snowball lead. So I'm lucky for Detox, but yeah.
And as our casters pointed out, the monkey was a bit strange. Sorry, the Hunbats was a bit strange with the Baba Yaga, because you want the burst ults. But I believe they'll be able to sort this out and clean up a few things. Maybe defend their own bus a little bit better. Don't buy a ward chalice 5 minutes into the game when you have your own vision wards, and work on grouping and splitting the map. Because as we saw, they were down 2k at 5 minutes, which is that's just farming at that point. It's not even really invades or denying.
Yeah, definitely. They just gotta figure out and let's try not to let them snowball them and just get a good comp that can actually give the pressure back towards Wyverns, because that was the main trouble. Yeah, was they would be getting invaded and nothing would be happening about it, and they couldn't really do anything because they didn't have any pressure. They didn't have gods that could really take on the 1v1 or 2v2. So hopefully we see that change, but yeah, there's not really much that can be said. Just got to change the dream draft. Going to pick some bands for game 2 shortly, hopefully. We'll just keep on talking a little bit.
What bands would you like to see out
About
of Detox here? Do you reckon they should get rid of the Erlang and the Bologna?
I don't know. The Bologna, I think you can get away with. I think you just got to get something else in the solo for Jesus. Maybe something a bit more pressure wise, because Cthulhu was getting got on and his blue buff being taken, so kind of unlucky for him. But yeah, we get to see the Erlang being banned out, which I was gonna say is probably the best scenario to ban out.
It's a pretty good call there by Detox if they're not going to obviously pick it with their first pick. I would like to see Detox draft something a little bit earlier game here, because in any game of Smite, at least you get to play the early game. They didn't really get to play much of the late game in game 1, so if they can give themselves a better chance, and Yamoja coming out for a ban here for Thunderclap Death Wyvern, which is a good call if you're not first pick yourself.
Yeah, we did see Detox ban it, but I'm guessing that Wyverns just don't want it as well. Very strong god. The heal and the ult are really, really strong. Just a good overall ban, but yeah, Detox banning the Capri. Capri just a solid ban, just annoying to deal with, so yeah, just a standard ban in there.
It's looking like similar bans here coming out. And that's the Cleo again, which is, just pressure in solo, which makes it a bit easier for whatever they're going to draft over there or in jungle.
Yeah, it could be jungle or solo, but yeah, it just has a lot of pressure, and it's just very annoying with the healing as well. Just being able to get the soul eater. Chernobog being banned, very, very standard ban. It's just very, very, very popular god and very OP god, I feel like. Because the ult is just let you go anywhere, and the mitigations he has on his ult is just very, very big. So, good bans from Detox, I reckon. Getting rid of the Erlang as well.
And an early Morrigan ban, perhaps signaling that they want to be picking up the Cthulhu or such like.
Yeah, Mori ban really, really early. But yeah, locked in by by Detox. Very, very interesting. We did see it banned by Wyverns. I think no, Detox banned it in game 1 in the second phase, but they want to pick it up now. Very, very weird Geb pick. There are a lot more gods you could play. Sorry, a lot more gods you could pick. Like the Nemesis is up, and a few other gods like Freya is up. So kind of interesting to see a Geb first pick.
Absolutely. The Rama, it's also I also would like to see them get a bit more pressure in their Joy Lane. Geb traditionally has issues rolling out of early game into late game, and as we saw last game, it might be a little bit hard. But the Rama Zeus here for first 2 for Thunderclap Death Wyverns, that is an absolute banger combo.
Yeah, the Zeus really, really strong. I don't think we've ever really seen it this season, and we saw it a bit last season. But Zeus, very, very strong. If you have a lot of people around you to keep the Zeus safe, then it's really, really good. But what's I was gonna say? Yeah, you just need the peel around it, and Death Wyvern's last game were really like pushing it. Was snowballing really hard. And when Zeus has a snowball lead, he's very, very hard to kill and to shut down. So, kind of a good pick, I reckon, for Death Wyvern if they just want to run it down.
Seems like Detox are leaning more into their late game here with the Geb Freya. That pretty much loses to a Rama by itself early. So no matter what Dice Heart decides to give himself here for support, at least in Joy Lane, they're going to be okay. and it's looking like a Herc as well. So that's a bit more. That's a bit more early game pressure that we're asking for here, which is good. Which will maybe help get their Freya to the late game.
I'm herking it's a Herc jungle. That's what I'm thinking. A Herc jungle I've been liking. But it's probably going to end on solo, which is still fine. We don't really see much Herc. This is the first game of Herc ever being played, actually.
Oh, big.
Looking at the stats, so going to be big. Hoping to see this Herc pop off, but with Death Wyverns, looking at the Aphrodite hover, it's very interesting.
I'm assuming that's for Dice, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
A known Afro player.
Yeah, has been played as well, so... wow, 2 gods that haven't been played in the first season or this season, so... yeah, very, very interesting. Both healing gods. Afro, I don't know if that's going to be... where that's going. It probably is support.
Well, considering the Zeus, I mean, it could go solo, but from the looks of it, I've got a feeling they're going to run it down in solo, as they did last game.
Yes.
And the Afro can kind of just connect to the solo or the jungle and help them eat 4 ults, like they did last time.
We do see the Odin ban coming out from Death Wyverns. Very, very good ban, I feel like. Zeus and Afro are just going to get stuck in the cage. And Odin gets rid of their anti-heal, so very, very good ban. Detox banning out the Lancelot. I completely forgot Lancelot is actually open. You can actually pick him.
Great, a great call banning that out. You just don't want to deal with that. And then the Baba Yaga ban last. Obviously, Celestial Chosen was putting in the work last game. Even if it wasn't an ideal pick, he still managed to get both his Warlocks and his book stacked, which means he was absolutely swinging in his ult.
Yeah, and then we got the Bologna ban coming through. A very good ban by Detox. The Bologna was just very, very annoying. But Death Wyverns picking up the Cabrakan. Okay. What is their comp?
Okay, that's Cabrakan jungle.
Okay, yes, that would actually make sense. It has to be Aphrodite support, of course, and Zeus mid. So
that's what we're thinking. That's what we're thinking. And I'm wondering how Detox are going to answer this, because they might be confused themselves.
Yeah, but Death Wyvern's got a really, really solid comp. Like the Cabrakan Zeus combo is going to be really, really good in mid. It's very, very scary, and the snowball on that is like terrifying. Like I don't know any more words that can be scary.
If this Artemis gets picked, I think we can find them for trolling, maybe.
Trolling? Why do you think Artemis is a troll pick here?
Well, Cabrakan, right?
Yes.
Just Cabrakan in general.
Yeah, and the team fights Artemis would probably get altered by the Cabrakan and trembled.
Yeah.
So
into Zeus ult, that's a lot of fun. So I'm assuming it's going to be. Now, would you put Freya or Artemis in here?
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is their mid laner?
Maybe Bastet, Freya jungle? Bastet mid, Freya jungle?
That would make the most sense, but I think it's a Freya mid, which I do not like at all. Freya, I feel like, has to be all by herself in a lane, which is ADC, and just farm till the late game. In mid game, you have to play throughout the whole game, and Freya in the mid to early game is like very, very bad. So I don't know about the Detox pick.
It's looking like they're really, really leaning into their late game orientated team here, which if they can get to 25 minutes even, they're looking really good.
Yes.
However, it's getting to that 25 minutes even part that might be the issue for Detox this game.
Yeah, just a lot of late game gods and not really any early game pressure, which is kind of sad. Would love to see the early game pressure, but hopefully they can learn how to avoid the snowball and be able to go even with Wyverns. But Wyvern picking up the Humbat.
That just goes well. There's not a lot of CC. No, there's plenty of CC immune ults. I think the Humbats just counters with the Cabrakan to burn ult/beads for the Zeus Rama cleanup.
Yeah, and Humbat's ult with the Zeus ult just gets a few ticks off with the Zeus, so it kind of helps out Zeus's damage, which I can kind of like, to be honest.
Absolutely, and not to mention it's always a flex pick, picking something that the other team lost with last game.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll take it over to the casters, and they can talk about what they think about these drafts.
Is left there? Yep.
Hello. I'm last.
I'm Will. I mean Nan.
Any Dark Souls?
Any Dark Souls?
Yeah, look, not odd draft. I don't know where to begin with this.
Well, Detox have tried something different, and I always commend that after being dominated in the first game. Okay, with the Geb, I am not a fan of it if you're a team who struggles in the early game against another team who pressures a lot in the early game. I'm not a fan of it. I like Geb when you have Blink, first relic even, and you can make stuff happen and you have pressure elsewhere. And this team doesn't have any of that.
On top of that, they've also picked the Artemis with the Geb, which is probably the least pressure I've ever seen in a lane.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Freya, for the first time in OCL, probably since she came back, makes it through picks and bans, doesn't get picked in the initial slot, and then doesn't get picked by the other team, and then they get it in the second pick for Team 1, and then they put it mid.
Now, it could be a matter of God comfort here, and we do like to say prioritize your comfort picks over the meta in OCL. So that's possible. I mean, let's keep in mind this Detox team, they're quite new. Not as in like new players necessarily, but like new to the league and with each other. Yeah, so I would cut them a bit of slack with things like this. They're still working out what's happening. I don't think that Girdle's gonna provide a whole lot of safety for this Artemis.
Yeah, this could. Oh,
I don't think it's enough.
Well, he's walked back in, and oh my word, he survives the smallest of margins.
Yeah, if you have a Geb Artemis lane, I don't recommend getting a Frenzy, because you won't get a lot of value out of it. Oh, Rana getting really low. Unfortunately, not enough Freya auto attacks connect, and Humbat's just hitting house the whole time and gets him. Oh, you hate to see it. Two very low opponents, and none of them can be killed by this Freya.
Oh, once again, that is first blood the way of Envy against House. Very, very reminiscent of Game 1, and this duo lane is just getting run down, which we gotta expect the pressure that they've picked.
Exactly, they've picked such low pressure across this whole team, maybe outside of the Herc, and Freya just goes down there. I think this is the absolute worst thing. I would rather a Thana mid or a Thana ADC, a Chigu special at this point, than what they've picked, because at least it's some pressure. They can clear buffs, they can contest stuff early, and if you're a team that's really struggling with that, don't play to your weakness.
Yeah, I'm so upset that they picked this Freya and then just tossed it in mid.
100%. Now we're seeing Zeus soloing lefts, and now the buffs are spawning for the first time for both teams. Let's see which ones get invaded. Looks like blue will be secured for Detox, which is a good start, and Envy's not really in a spot to steal any buffs, so I think both teams will secure all of their respective buffs. Yeah, well, I say that, although this purple does look a bit in danger.
Yeah. Dice is getting a little bit low, but that is an Aphrodite, so she's just gonna go ahead and sustain that right back up.
Yeah, now if Ozcam goes over and maybe just messes with the Wyverns a bit, he could stall them, but won't.
See, I mentioned in Game 1 when we saw Dysart grab the Hog and use it on the initial spawn that you don't really want to grab Hog initial spawn because the buff is so weak, but you can grab it and use it for the first respawn.
Yeah,
if
that would have been the perfect scenario for Ozcam to pick up Hog there.
Yeah, I don't see Ozcam. He was decently healthy. He is Geb. He's got that shield, that knockup. I don't see him dying there. He just kind of walks in and just hogs the buff. There's no secure on the way of this Wyverns duo lane. But unfortunately, it looks like he's got that multi-pot instead.
We haven't seen Envy too aggressive so far. I mean, he's got Blink and Ult ready to go, so he will be ripping that on any part of the map very soon, I'm sure. It's a matter of where he decides to do this. Now, Hercules, he could be vulnerable, but I don't think they would have enough burst to blow him up. Somewhere in the duo lane for sure, but both carries have beads currently. The Bastet even has beads, on top of the fact of having a CC immune ult. So, Shu will be quite safe.
Yeah, the Allbats doesn't quite have the same early game that the Erlang Shen has, especially in Erlang with mannequins.
He's heading right though. Oh, and La House heads left at the same time, and they're getting poked here and left. Bastet's not 5 here, so...
Dice does have that ultimate though, which will be used. I don't think it's going to save his life as House picks up that kill. Envy, whoever gets the kill, right. It's all into it.
Oh, does not juke out Brucey U. Bastet hits 5 though. Beads forced out for Rum, and Artemis not 5, unfortunately, so...
Oh, good trap from Wally though.
Brucey U wants to turn this. He's very strong, but also tanking creeps and 2 players. And
Wally, what are you doing, buddy? What do you come back, boys?
Respect the Rama.
Yep, that's fine. Maybe Artemis seeing that he was close to hitting level 5.
Yeah, maybe he was waiting for 1 creep, didn't quite get it.
Oh. As you were talking about it just before that gank happened, the Hercules did die in solo lane from what I assume had to have been Fear No Evil out of Envy.
Yeah, Blink Fear No Evil.
Yeah, probably the walls as well coming out of Gaiden on this Bracken as House finds himself in an awkward spot.
Yeah, Gaiden was also able to just get the blue there as Jazaz was coming back to lane, and House for a second trying to get to his own red but being chased around by 2. This Afro Zeus combo could be quite quick. They have sprint as well, so on top of that movement speed the Afro gets when she kisses someone, that could be hard to run down.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good play from House in my opinion though. You know, walked around, poked Rana out a little bit, which made him deter from going for that red buff invade, and then the red buff will be secured by Detox. So, I mean, pretty interesting way of going about it, but a good play in the end from House in my opinion.
Just looking at the ward coverage for Wyverns, and that is some pretty nice warding, if I must say so myself. If I were the mid for Wyverns right now, I would be very happy. I wouldn't feel in danger anyway, given the current game state, but look, even wards as deep as that entrance below the tier 1 and mid on the left side just catches catches Detox if they even want to look for that red, and Envy's heading back to right again. Now he's got ult up.
Well,
no
we've just seen the ultimate use. Yeah, double ult in solo lane. I mean, we just saw Jizaz use his ultimate to clear the wave, and then elect to push. I'm not too sure why he used the driving strike, but I mean that's just a free gank for the.
I didn't notice that.
2 ults out of those 2 and Wyverns.
That must have been Gaiden inviting that to happen, and Brucey is dashing in now, getting poke off on Artemis, but ult's coming out in mid. Ooh, Envy blinks in to pick up the pieces. Not quick enough to kill the Freya though. And they just take the support for now, as Scorpion already done.
Well, this game elected to, instead of walking directly out of the Zeus ult, he walked sideways to take more ticks from the Zeus ult and take the doves from Dyson, so it's a bold strategy. It didn't quite pay off for him.
Another blue invade.
Gator getting super low, they're good ult from House, but unfortunately Beard's good pull as well, but it's put on the wall. And I think House should have the damage for this one, as Jesus secures the kill. Gaiden realizes that there's no way he's getting out of that one, just goes for a bit of extra damage, but Gold Fury pulled at 7.5 minutes and also used my dice.
Fury, and if only Wally had a slight idea that was happening, that could have been a huge taking for the Artemis there, but...
Yeah, Wally had ult. That was... I think he gets a double kill at least there. You know, Dicer forces the ultimate, you know, a little Caledonian Boar, and I think we see a double kill there.
I think he has so little pressure in this lane. He's not really thinking about venturing into the jungle and checking where the team is. I think he's just focusing on clearing and securing his own buffs. So Wyvern's taking advantage of that. Now they're resetting. He will get his own purple though, which is nice. The buffs on the left side of the map for Detox are being secured by them and not the enemy. So that's a positive note for Detox. I mean, the gold difference is not great, I'm not gonna lie. It's Gaiden hitting an ult off with Jesus.
Jesus could be in trouble here. I think he's taking a bit too long to break this wall, and Gaiden will secure that kill.
Yeah, the Herc push not quite up in time.
Could we see wards placed really quickly? I'm very curious about this.
Oh, look at that, La House carrying the wards placed. 0 for Envy, that's a jungle diff right there.
So the thing that I wanted to point out is the fact that Ozcam has once again started this ward chalice. He's also got a sentry ward, and at this point has only placed 2 wards, 8 minutes in. As this middle tower falls, I think a little bit extra ward vision just to see, especially in the jungle, as we saw that Gold Fury go down without anyone really noticing. I think it wouldn't hurt just for Ozcam to get out and place these wards down, as he's taken some weird pathing here. Ultimate used.
Yeah, pathing away from his structures and teammate by the look of it. Oh, Dice getting so low but too quick.
Yeah, ultimate forced out and the sprint. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Jesus is actually doing a lot of work on this Hercules though. Boulder used. Clips Gaiden. Oh, that's something you hate to see.
Bastard. Oh, no beads for Envy. He's getting flipped. No. Oh my gosh, and how's standing still? Was he like DC'd there? Is he still? He's DC'd, but he got the kill because Envy jumped on him and he was autoing.
There's no way.
What?
There's no way.
Did House just get a kill when he was DC'd holding auto attack and
there's actually
just
no way.
Of him.
Okay,
if that is how it played out, it's so funny.
It is a DC out of house.
After he gets the kill, dude, that's skill.
I don't know, because he wasn't moving. I don't know.
He was still holding click, like, while Envy was 1 HP, and Envy jumps back on him and dies.
And,
that's a legendary.
I think a little bit poor out of Wyverns there to not just get that kill, but for Gaiden to use an ultimate on that kill. I mean, I think you can probably easily tell that was a DC.
Yeah, so Envy really got punished for DC abusing. What can we say?
Yeah, so glad to see Envy fall there for DC abusing. That's a very good point. As if only this game wasn't live so that we could fast forward through the pause, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, what a shame. Just going back, you were talking about warding before. I would like to say that I think it can be more difficult for teams who are behind and very low pressure to place wards they have. So Ozcam has this chalice. He's got a sentry to end his free ward until he gets 12. I think he's just not in the position to put them out. Geb's quite safe with the rollout, but he's just not roaming the jungle enough to really get these wards deep enough to sort of spot out these engagements from Wyvern passing through the jungle.
It's a low ward right here where Celestial's backing, like even just a ward there, ward on the right side. Harpies is, I mean, he's got a single ward down. Looks to be his sentry ward. He's placed it high in a good spot. I do like where he's put that up near the red buff.
A bit too late though. Bit tower's already fallen.
Yeah. I don't think they need to worry about people pathing that high at this current minute.
So the Pyro's up. So you'd have to think Wyverns naturally going to be looking for that next, or just some more buff invades. Buffs on left side for Detox are up, and they're still kind of hanging around right side. I don't want to see them trying to contest this Pyro when they've got farm up. As Regan pressuring left too, rolls into Artemis, I'm seeing. Getting some good poke out. Andy's got ult up, doesn't even need it. Rama autos.
Wally just kind of jukes himself to death there, unfortunately, as Regan just doesn't miss those, I suppose. But
Andy's got a nice, lovely treb there.
Yeah, Gus is pushing down.
He probably doesn't even need to be there. He could rotate now if he wanted. Humbat's ult, was that Freya beads? No.
No, that wasn't. That was Geb's shield. So good.
He got the ult off.
Good belief out of Celestial in his support there to shield him from the CC. Unfortunately though, no shield for Geb to survive. Oh dear.
Ooh, she gets a kill though, which is nice. So again, it's kind of similar to last game. Wyverns aren't really doing a whole lot except for running at Detox. Nice triple for Rana. I mean, at least Brucey is like sort of playing objectively here.
Yeah.
He'll get some decent poke off on that left tier 2 before Wally's able to kill this Treb. Gold Fury is coming up soon, so that should be the next objective.
Bit of a clown fiesta as well. Once again, we just see the buffs and the camps on the side of Wyverns have just been up for 5 minutes and they're just not being done because they're too busy standing on tier 2 tower. But unfortunately, Detox has kind of fallen for that trap and taking these fights.
If I had to take a guess, I would say House is definitely more a fan of these ability-based junglers. Like, we know he was a fan of mages. He likes these big abilities and skill shots that he can hit on people and do a lot of damage. But I think if he were like a late game hyper carry, very slippery god like Mercury or someone like that, or Kali, and just runs around the jungle picking up all this extra farm Wyverns are not doing because they're too busy just running it down at Detox. Like, he could be getting so big right now.
House probably doesn't want to be in the area of this level
Half
14 Cabrakan.
He's building full damage.
Full damage Ranger's Mask, yeah, and this will be a speed buff rundown. I mean, again, like, I don't know what the Wyverns are doing here besides just trying to pad stats. You know, there's an Oni Fury up. Regan has shoved this duo lane tower, like, wave all the way to the tier 2 tower. Wally just trapped in. I think picking Artemis into Cabrakan's always going to be rough for the boy.
We could hope after getting all these kills to the Ram autos snipes. Not quite. I mean, with so many players off the map now, it's hard not to, like, do some sort of objective play here.
Wait, I gotta give it to Jesus. His Herc has been cleaned. I've seen him hit a lot of pull
he's
pushes.
done well.
I've been quite impressed with the Herc, to be honest.
I'm not a fan of this. This is not a highlight play.
And again, like, Wyvern's just looking for kills rather than playing the game.
Gaden's trapped himself now.
As Gaden is now entered. This is poor. This is very poor from the boys.
Run an ad. Who's mod on?
This Oni Fury's been up. This Oni Fury's been up for 7 minutes now. The Fire Giant's up, and again, instead of backing it doing something, they're just sitting on speed buff waiting for a pick. You know.
Interesting. Zeusalt hit what, 1 or 2 shots?
This is I mean, at least Regan's gone back to the duo lane to try and take this tower, but again, from the looks of it, looks like he was just corner camping Wally as well. Another kill.
I think the cameraman's as asleep as we are right now, because everything's just kind of happening. Kills left, right, and center. Not really any grouping or objectives.
The map more than the actual game.
Finally, mid tower's being done. That's something. We're progressing maybe just a little bit closer to this game being closed out, because it's very clearly going in the favor.
Regan, oh, thank God. Thank God he didn't back. He's going for the tier 2.
You go for the Phoenix if he wants to have so much pressure right now.
God, I'm hoping that Regan just walks his wave all the way to Titan and just ends this game.
Definitely could, but no, he wants to join in on the action. Jesus now, I mean, a bit tanky. Got a few items online, but
I don't know who's more trapped in this game, Detox boys or us watching it. Oh, that's a good. Oh, that's a brilliant pull. Clean from Wally, absolutely clean. As Ozcam's kind of in a weird position here.
Yeah, he's just been a bit too split from his team this game.
As Wally falls as well.
And Jesus turns around to the delightful surprise of a large Rama.
The really sad thing is that the respawn timers on Detox are so low right now that even though the Wyverns are getting all these kills, they can't push because these people respawn, and then instead of playing objectives, they're just kind of monkeying. Gaden, again, just looking for a kill here. This Oni Fury has almost been up for about 10 minutes, and I think that, sorry, not 10 minutes, they did it 7 minutes, for probably about 4 minutes now, and it's still not been done.
Yeah, despite the monkeying around for 5 or so minutes, I'm sure there's a lot of goal in hand for some of these Wyverns who haven't backed yet, so hopefully they do decide to regroup and destroy an objective that might end this game sometime soon. Buffs being done, finally, for Wyverns. Didn't take too long.
It's only been about 14 minutes since any of their own farm was done. This game...
Yeah, it looks like neutral farm's just being cleared out right now. It's a bit redundant. I think Wyverns, what they're doing is trying to put themselves in more of a spot to win the game, when they already are in a spot to win the game. So all they need to do is win the game. So can they win the game, please? Like, okay, like Siege or do Fire Giant? Choose one of those. They're choosing Siege.
Are they? I don't think they are. I think they're just looking for more kills. I wouldn't be surprised to see them all just back to base to spend gold rather than to take this tower. Oh no, of course they won't, because there is, again, Gaiden to run at. Oh, good knockup though, and good ultimate from Cam.
Well, not enough. He's just too squishy. Level 9 right now.
That was a good turn of events from Cam, though. I gotta give it to him. He played that really well.
Yeah, Gaiden really low now.
Yeah, his team did well to break the walls from the Cabrakan to get him out of danger there. If he wasn't so underleveled, that would have been a very good play.
House is roaming now, which actually will help his team quite a lot if he can clear out some of these waves. Looks like he's going to milk the totem. I want to see how much this destroys his health bar. He milks all of those.
I don't think the
only goes to 1.
I don't think the Wyvern boys are that worried about being milked at this point.
I would just be proxying the waves right now. Like, that's already so much value. Pyro being completed, that's an objective. Unfortunately, the rest of the team is not there to help with this Fire Giant, although I trust Wyverns have enough healing and DPS to complete that one. Looks like Wyverns are just hunting House here. 2 of them at least.
Just the 2 people needed for the Fire Giant, which is crazy, considering the fact that Fire Giant's been up for a long time. And it's... Yep, that
Now
will be a Wyvern's Fire Giant.
Reset coming up for half the team. The other half resetting shortly, I hope. Then, alright. Now, easy Gold Fury. They'll have Oni waves in right. They can easily get the left Phoenix. I'm sure they'll kill the enemy team. And there should be an end in approximately 3 minutes. Let's see if that happens. I'm manifesting the end of this game, Lath.
I just want this game over.
Maybe if we pray to one of the many gods in this Smite game.
Yeah, we'll pray to one of the many Smite gods to just end this game, end the curse that this game has put on us.
That's a lot of archers right there.
Yeah, luckily though, Freya kinda good at clearing out waves with that second ability.
Although kind of gets baited.
Good shield though.
Really not an optimal Aegis.
Oh my word.
That was a lot of damage. And she gets ram sniped anyway. So Wyvern's in a prime position to win the game right now.
I mean, I've got to give it to Cam though. He's played this game Osgab quite well. I've been impressed.
Yeah, he's made a good impact. It's so similar to last game. Like, he had some cracked Ganesh ults last game. It's just such a shame they're so far behind. Like, you can tell that they're solid players and they're experienced, but just not. They don't have the whole team play thing under wraps yet and holding the map. Uzaz goes down. Only fire waves pushing in. If Wyverns don't want to end this game, I'm sure the waves will. So
yeah, I think from the boys, save that death column, just sit in Fountain here, let the Wyverns end the game.
I don't think they even live in Fountain. Looks like that is game. Set, match. What a barn burner. That was a barn burner. That was a highly anticipated set. As
thank God that is like...
highly anticipated. Well done to Wyverns, showing their dominance, and hopefully we'll see that dominance carry over to the other teams. But I think we'll throw it back to the analysts now to break down that exciting game where there's definitely a lot to break down.
Thank you, boys. Thank you, Dan and Lath. Very, very tiring game, it looks like. Yeah, just Wyverns kind of trolling a little bit. They could have ended a little bit sooner, could have got objectives, and it just went on for so long. What do you think about that game? Distinct taste?
You know, it pretty much went how we thought it was going to go when we saw the picks and bans. So I'm not surprised. However, I believe that they can tighten some things up, maybe work on their comps. But as you know, Envision, Detox did show a little bit. But you know, obviously, first game in the OCL, not used to the teamwork or the pressure being put out by the Wyverns there, and it was just kind of a drubbing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just again from game one. They got snowballed. Game two, exact same thing happened. They got just snowballed, but they looked a bit better in game two. It's just, yeah, I don't think the Freya mid was really helping, and they just got to work on their teamwork, their drafting. Drafting is a big one, but they're still a new team, so hopefully they can work out these kinks and hopefully in the next time they play, which I think is next week. I don't know who they're versing, but hopefully they do a bit better and improve.